Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. So have a look at the links that I have for you so you can discover and explore and also master this amazing deck. So here we are in our May forecast. As always, I've got the one deck for the portrait and the Astro Clock cards. So let's go ahead and start with you, Aries. These are your Astro Clock cards for the month of May, and they're looking really bright. We have the tree, fish, and heart. These are really nice cards for prosperity because the fish is a card of money, business, work, and these practical areas of your life. And the tree is a card of growth and well-being, and with the heart, which is a card of feelings and happiness, it looks like you are on the right track. So you could be in for growth or a bonus or some kind of improvement in this area. And I have to add also, Aries, that the fish, when it comes to love, and the reason I bring that up is because we have the heart, is really good for a healthy physical life. So there can be a developing connection here if this is about a relationship. So overall, and based on just these three cards, it's looking pretty peaceful. And there is a sense of abundance, and I would say also appreciation and gratitude. So let's put these aside, Aries, and let's draw your 9-card portrait and see what else we get for you this month. Okay, Aries, here is your portrait. And I have to say the cards are really different from the cards in the Astro Clock. But what I'm seeing here is that there are lots of changes happening, and it seems that on the other side of the changes there is a more peaceful, a more sort of established and a more predictable situation that revolves around a sense of prosperity. In your portrait cards, we see changes, and I would say even turbulence. We have the whip and clouds. These are challenging cards. The mouse is a bit challenging. It's not as big of a deal as the other two, and certainly not as much as the whip. We also have change cards and possibly even travel cards. We have the stork as your cover card. We have the road in the center. We also have the mountain, which could be a location abroad, especially with the bear, which suggests someone who's based abroad. And we have the rider, which is another card of movement. So as you can see, there's a lot of change, there's a lot of movement and things happening here. And it's not looking like the easiest thing. And it could be a little bit messy, but it looks like with this column especially, you could land in another place, or you could pursue certain objectives that put you on a more solid footing. The bear and tree have a lot in common. The mountain does too, actually, and these are strong, solid cards that have a sense of foundation. So things are being changed here, and then there's like a situation that is more predictable. So the stork, road, and mountain, this is a very clear combination that can point to a trip, and you could be going somewhere, not necessarily in a different country or things like that. It could just be a little bit farther from where you are. You could also be pursuing some things online, because I take the mountain to suggest somewhere online. Now the mountain is sometimes an obstacle card. I'm pretty sure you know that. And we do have the mouse and clouds on the bottom row with the mountain, so it can certainly bring up that obstacle aspect of the mountain. So you could be trying to make changes, trying to move forward, and then you find yourself facing up to some obstacles. Now the clouds with the road and rider is sort of similar in the sense that we have these two movement cards. There's a lot of parallel here. And we have the clouds and mountain, which can both be obstacles. The difference between the two is that the clouds is not an obstacle in your face. It's not a blockage as much as it creates bumpiness, annoyances, issues, problems, little things here and there that come your way. The mouse does something similar, actually, and we also see it with the road. So both diagonals suggest that you are pursuing some goals or moving forward or going places, and it's not the easiest thing. There are, challenges and some, at least, annoyances that come up. At the same time, Aries, I have to say that this doesn't mean that you don't pursue them. I'm seeing the challenge cards on the left, and on the right we see strength through the power of the bear. So we'll get to this in a bit. The stork with the lily and rider, this could be some objectives that you're pursuing in terms of your career, because the lily is often a card of career and life path. This can affect your direction in a sort of a bigger way. But it does align, I have to say, with the fish and tree, this idea of wanting to grow and pursue these sorts of objectives. So this could be in focus for you, Aries, and this could be where all the issues or, you know, the changes revolve. And the Lily T crosses the middle row. We have the middle column, sorry, we have the road and mouse. So again, like I said, there was this element of bumpiness. So I can't say that this month your pursuits are smooth, Aries. You know, your objectives are aligned and you're on the right track, you're pursuing the right things, but getting there or moving towards there is looking a bit challenging. The whip with the road and bear is also another challenging line because of the whip. The bear, though, is very helpful here in telling us that you need to work through this. The bear is a card of strength and courage. It stands its ground. It doesn't back down. It can even be intimidating. So you're definitely up for this, but probably not without some wrestling and not without some challenges. I can also suggest, Aries, that the whip and road can point to a change of direction. And this could be part of, you know, the changes that we see here. The whip T crosses this column on the left, and we have the stork with the whip and clouds. These are clearly challenges that you need to work through and figure out. The thing about the clouds, Aries, is that it has a psychological aspect, so it can be associated with thoughts. And so with the whip, maybe you are having, you know, these issues are also inside of you in the sense that, you know, you're stressed out about your direction, or you could be having some inner conflicts about certain things. So it can be on the inside or the outside, and often it's both. And so the whip T crosses the middle row, and you know, the bear is really helpful in telling us that you need to confront these issues. And it's really through these issues that you can find yourself in a more peaceful and a more predictable, more prosperous situation. So you definitely want to go for this. I think we read this briefly, the clouds with the mouse and mountain. This clearly suggests an obstacle, and I would say it's mainly a blockage where you're not sure what to do, how to overcome it. But I have to say, in this sense, the whip's aggression is quite welcome because it can really break through these barriers. And it has this aggressive energy that could help you decide that you're just going to get past this. So it helps you lock in that energy and that sense of commitment towards the change. So that is a hopeful message. And the rider with the bear and mountain, like I said earlier, can be first a trip abroad. And the bear and mountain can actually suggest someone who is based abroad. So you could have someone in that location and maybe you're going to see them, or perhaps you're moving and making changes or considering some different places in light of your goals. So this is an encouraging line. This is definitely a line that tells you to go for this and to move past all of the hesitation, all of the challenges, to go see what you can do in that space, in that location. And like I said, it could potentially be online as well. But you need to pursue this. You need to get moving. You need to break through the barriers. You need to stop hesitating. You need to be willing to pick up and make changes. And so I think this is a high energy month, Aries, where there could be a lot that you're dealing with. And all of it is, you know, for the good goal of making positive changes so that you can land in a more prosperous situation. Now, in terms of a more specific area like work or jobs, you know, there can be shakeups, but there can also be opportunities because of your Astro Clock cards. In terms of relationships, there can also be shakeups, but I have to say, because of this line and your Astro Clock cards, Aries, maybe you're trying to make a meeting or a connection happen, and you know, some things need to be shaken up a little bit for this to happen. So like I said, it's looking like a busy month. It could be a bit stressful. It's high energy, and you definitely want to get moving. So it seems to me that action is better than no action. So at this point, you're past the thinking and the overthinking and the planning, and it's time to make some things happen. Let me know what you make of this, Aries. A very interesting set of cards, quite dynamic. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and your feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Taurus, welcome to your May monthly forecast. We have your cards from the Astro Clock for the month of May, and this is the Woman, Sun, and Whip. Now, the Sun is an all-around bright card, so it does bring good vibes with this relationship, whoever she may be exactly, but the Whip is a challenging card, and I have to say that the Sun and Whip are sort of on equal levels. The Sun is as positive as the Whip is challenging. So there can be a bit of a tug between them. And so when this happens, we rely on the order of the cards. And as you can see, we have the Whip on the other side of the Sun. So the Whip brings challenges, but because the Sun is so bright, it might not be such a big challenge. And so the way things can go with these three cards, Taurus, is that there can be some challenges after a phase of happiness, and maybe a relationship sours a little bit, or something comes up to, maybe change the picture of this relationship. Now, like I said, who the woman is specifically is flexible. It depends on the situation, and we'll see if the portrait cards tell us more about this. But typically, Taurus, the man and woman, they represent important people in our life. So let's put these three cards aside and let's draw your 9-card portraits and see what else is in store for you. Okay, Taurus, here is your portrait, and as you can see, we have the beautiful clover in the middle, which aligns really nicely with the sun. This is an all-around happy card, and I have to say, in light of challenges, it can suggest a blessing in disguise or a positive turnaround. We have the ring as your cover card, and the ring clearly brings up a relationship, which also aligns with the woman. We have a couple of challenging cards, especially together, and so this aligns with the whip. But I have to say, Taurus, that the rest of the cards are really bright, so it does look like there's a positive turnaround. So let's weave these lines in turn. We have the ring, clover, and house. This is a wonderful connection with some people or a space that is represented by the house. It could also be a situation that is closer to home and, of course, your home and family outright. So there are some strong and positive relationships here. Now, with the fish, clover, and coffin, there is an ending, or at least something goes on hold. The fish and clover is great for prosperity, for money, and for blessings, especially with the clover. But the coffin can mean that there's a delay for this to come through. As we can see at the top, we have the ring, mouse, and coffin. This can also point to an ending, but also a waste of time or things taking too much time and dragging. Because the mouse has a way of eating away at things, and with the coffin, which is a card of time and things being on hold, it sounds like things have just been taking too much time. Now, the ring in this situation, I'm not so sure it's about straight up a connection. It can be, and maybe there was an absence or a time apart, or some things that, went sort of off a little bit. That's possible. But also it can mean that you're sort of waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's just like ongoing through the ring. So that can be part of the frustration. Now, this is going to be resolved because we have this beautiful right-hand side column that points to things picking up thanks to the stork. We have the stork after the coffin, which points to change and things moving after this phase of waiting. And the stork and house often points to a house move or a house change, and it can also point to other changes within the home. So it sounds like you were waiting for money to come in or for an opportunity to come in, and it sounds like it could have been dragging. It could be part of the issues with this person. It could be part of the frustration overall. But these are great cards to reassure you that things can move forward. And the second row is also supportive of this, because we have the stork at the end of the line, and this is the card that T-crosses the right-hand side column. Earlier, we have the Tower, which is another card of time. It's not depressive or down, if you like, as much as a coffin, but it does have an element of longevity and things stretching over time. So there could have been, again, this while that you're waiting for things to move forward. Again, the clover is lovely. It probably suggests the right timing. That might not be what you have in mind, but the clover, which is a card of chance, can give you that element of luck and blessing. So it might not be the timing that you have in mind, Taurus, but it's going to be the right timing. So just have faith in that and trust the process. The Tower can also be a card of organizations, companies, business environments, institutions, and maybe there has been something that you were working through in such an environment that had been dragging and taking time. It could be things like administrative, legal, other things. It can also be in relation to your work because the Tower is a business card. And actually the Tower T crosses this left-hand side column where we have the ring and fish. And this could be your job. And this could be some long-term investments or commitments. It could be the long-term projects with regards to your work and your finances. We could even be looking at pensions, retirements, and those sorts of areas. And so you could have been working through something in this area, and it could have been dragging and taking time, but we do see that hopefully within the month, Taurus, things are going to move. The fish with the book and house is an interesting line here because we've got the book. And the book is the card of the unknown and things that are not yet known. And with the house, it can be a new space, a new environment. And with the fish, this can be work-related or business-related. And we do have ending cards. So it can also be the case that you are letting go of a situation that is no longer aligned with you and you are going to step into something new. The thing about the book is that things remain unknown, and I think within the month things are a little bit unclear. But I do think there is a sense of moving forward and making positive changes, whether these involve changes within a certain environment or changes after a time of waiting, or letting go of something altogether and moving in a new direction. I think this is definitely exciting, and with the beautiful clover in the middle, I think it's meant to be. But again, the clover is a card of chance, and it is sometimes unpredictable, Taurus. So I just want to put it out there that maybe the way you're envisioning the changes or what you need to do in order to make it happen might not be exactly what you're thinking. So just be, open to possibilities. And also these cards are quite good for prosperity, I have to say, with the fish next to these lovely cards. It sounds like you can overcome the challenges, you overcome any disappointment here and make positive changes. Now, I have to say that even though we have the ring and woman in the cards, the rest of the, somehow the combinations here don't bring this out so much. But still, obviously, these are, they're both present in the cards. The ring is your cover card here. So in terms of relationships, I think there could have been some issues with someone. There could have been a time apart. But I do think, Taurus, that there's an opportunity to reconnect and to move forward in a positive way. So things can pick up with a relationship as well. Overall, Taurus, I think this is a lovely reading. I think the challenges are nicely downplayed, and there is a positive turnaround. So hopefully you'll be focused on this to make it happen. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Taurus. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Gemini, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your astro clock, and this is the key, whip, and book. And this is a bit of a challenging combination, even though we have the key. We have the whip in the middle, and the whip is pretty challenging. And with the book, it can be a surprise or something that comes unexpectedly and that can rock your boat. Now, what's nice about the key is that you're equipped to deal with this, Gemini. You're going to find solutions, but you're probably going to have to work at it. And also, Gemini, it's not really clear from just these three cards what this is about or what area this figures in. So we're going to put them aside and we're going to draw your portrait cards to see what else we get about these three and what other messages we get about your month. But this is quite an interesting triplet, so I'm curious now to see what this portrait is about. Okay, Gemini, here is your portrait, and we do have some challenges. We do have the snake and the mouse and the scythe, and these are on the right-hand side. And we have the coffin. With these cards, there is definitely an ending and a change. And the thing about the rider and stork is that they're also emphasized on change, and actually so is the road. So this might be an opportunity for you to break out of something and to escape. That is possible. The clover is actually a lucky card, and it does sort of work with the key, so we have the same balance of the cards. The Stork with the Rider and Mouse, this is definitely wanting to make changes, Gemini, and going places and pursuing objectives, but the Mouse can bring up some challenges. It can cause delays, it can cause little annoyances. The Mouse is not very strongly negative, it's a little bit negative, it's not as challenging as the Whip, that's for sure. So you could be wanting to move forward and, making changes and going after things, Gemini, but you could find that you face some problems. I have to say, though, that although this line is challenging, it can be helpful with dealing with these problems. The Clover with the Rider and Snake is a clear message of moving away and turning away. And the thing about the Clover here is that it's a bright card. It brings luck, it brings good fortune, and it can tell us that you're on the right track, meaning on the right track towards making these changes or moving away from a situation. So again, I'm seeing this element of escape and this, idea of you getting out at the right time. The Whip and Book in this context can mean the declaration or the announcement that you make. And the thing about the key is that it tells us that you're right to do this, sort of similar to what we see in this second diagonal. Now, the Stork with the Fish and Snake is actually positive because the snake and fish are great for being smart with money, being clever with your goals, and also being able to navigate the situation in a clever way. At the same time, Gemini, because the snake is windy, it might not be the most direct path. So expect that, going after your goals and achieving them might not be in a straight path. And also, Gemini, it's a good idea to avoid borrowing, lending, spreading yourself too thin when it comes to money. And I also have to wonder, because of the Stork and Snake and these changes here, it might be a good idea to cut costs and to avoid overspending and maybe postpone some purchases for the time being. So it's a good idea to slow down and to maybe strategize your finances and your business and your work a bit better. The Coffin and Scythe by themselves is often a combination of something dying, and a lot of readers see it this way. Of course, I don't. I need more context for something so specific. But we have the Rider, which is a card of movement, and it's a proactive card. So it's a clear message that tells us that you need to break out of something and let something go, and this works well with the Whip and Book as well. The Clover with the Road and Mouse is a reassuring combination because even though we have the Mouse, which tells us that the road is bumpy and there are challenges, just like what we saw with the Rider, we have the Clover earlier in the line, which is telling us that even though the path ahead is a bit challenging, it has its ups and downs, it's still a good idea to move ahead with it. And these changes are almost everywhere in so many combinations here. The Stork with the Coffin and Clover is another one. This tells us that you want to bring something to a close, and the Clover is again reassuring, telling us that it's the right thing to do, as is the key. I have to say, though, Gemini, that the Clover is a little bit unpredictable at times, and the way change happens, or the way you move ahead might not be exactly what you have in mind. So just be open-minded and be willing to go with the changes. The Fish with the Rider and Road is a lovely card combination for pursuing a path of prosperity or an improvement, and again going after these goals. So T crosses the top row, and it also T crosses the bottom row. So again, we have the Clover and the Fish and Rider, so these are encouraging cards that help you move forward. And again, even though it's a bit bumpy, I still think you're still going ahead with it. The Snake with the Scythe and Mouse is another strong message here, very clear. And we've got the Scythe, which is a card of release and separation. And with the Snake and Mouse, it definitely points to cutting away from something that is probably not working for you, that is probably causing losses or waste, and it's, in the very least, it's not aligned. And it T crosses the middle row, and this is where we saw this ending. and which in turn T-crosses the left-hand side column. So again, all of these cards are connecting together, and there's a clear message of cutting away something that is no longer working or extracting yourself out of a situation. I also have to say, Gemini, that the snake and scythe and the scythe and mouse can point to upsets. So the snake and scythe can point to a bite, so something hurtful, and sort of similar with the mouse, although the mouse is not as toxic as the snake. So this can be an issue or a problem that comes up, as we see also in the Astro Clock cards, and that could be the reason you decide to lock in and make this change. It's also possible, Gemini, that in your process of making changes, other people are negatively affected. I can also suggest that that's a possibility. But regardless, even though it's difficult and we do have some challenging cards, Gemini, I'm not seeing that you need to stick around. There are no cards that point to staying. In fact, most of the cards are about change, moving away, turning away, cutting away losses and things like that. All of it is clear in the cards. We do have the fish, which is a card of money and work and business. So this can be in the context of work, but it's just one card and we can stretch it in other contexts as well. So in this sense, Gemini, I would say that it's kind of flexible in what area these changes are happening. You let me know in the comments. And I'm very excited. I'm actually very excited for you because it sounds like it could be relieving, but it's not without its challenges. So I do look forward to your comments, Gemini, and I'm curious to know how you dealt with this or what it is that you're letting go of. I'd be interested to know. Very best of luck with this. Let me know how it goes again. Thank you for tuning in as always, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Cancer, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your Astro Clock, and they are the Coffin, Rider, and Clouds. These are a little bit complicated. They're not super dramatic, but the clouds can bring in some complications, some confusion and doubts. We have the Coffin before the Rider, and the Coffin is a card of endings, Cancer. So you could be pursuing an ending here, but I have to say with the clouds, you could be struggling a little bit about this. You're not sure how to bring it to a close or what you need to do. That's one way to look at the cards. Another way we can look at the cards is in terms of delays and things not moving forward and messages not coming through. That's because the Coffin is a card of time and often things being on hold, and the clouds adds to this, nebulousness, not sure what's happening. And the Rider is often a messenger, and it is a card of news and progress. So it's very good at moving things forward. But with the clouds and Coffin, it's clear that things are not really moving forward. And so you could be wondering what is going on here, and it could cause you some stress. So from just these three cards, we do not really see in what context this is happening. We're going to put these cards aside and we're going to draw your 9-card portrait and see what else we can learn about these three cards and what else is happening for you this month. Okay, Cancer, here is your portrait, and it is a lot brighter than the Astro Clock cards. So this is helpful in telling us that you're going to overcome these challenges here. Although I have to say, Cancer, the clouds and Coffin, they're not huge challenges. But what we do have in common is the Coffin and Child. And so the Coffin is about endings and the Child is about beginnings. So it's clear, Cancer, that you could be ending something and moving in a new direction. Now, the one card in your portrait that is a little bit difficult or tricky is the Snake. And we see it with relationship cards. And I have to say, Cancer, that when we see the Snake with people cards, it can represent someone who is deceptive, and that is definitely someone you need to be careful of. At the same time, we have some very bright cards in here. We have the Sun and Star. These are two of the brightest cards of the deck, and we have the Sun right in the middle. So you're in for wish fulfillment and happiness. So I think these very bright cards are going to help minimize the impact of any negative card around it. And I have to say, the Snake is not always challenging. There are combinations where the Snake is positive. The Child with the Sun and Snake is one of these. So the Sun with the Snake brings success, and it is very good at being sharp and being very aware and also being focused on the goal. And with the child here, you're moving in a new direction, which aligns with the astro clock cards. And also, the snake is not always straightforward, so expect maybe to take a roundabout path. Maybe this is part of the clouds and rider, where the direction is not always clear, it's not always straightforward. Again, the sun is so bright, the impact, the negative impact of the snake is minimized, and also you seem to be really focused on the goals with your eyes on the prize. We've got the mountain with the sun and anchor, and I often take the sun and mountain to suggest a vacation. It's also maybe, a time away, having some good times in the outdoors and things like that. The anchor and mountain can suggest having a base abroad, so being in a different location. So you could be traveling. Maybe traveling is in the cards for you. Otherwise, the mountain as an obstacle, sometimes the mountain is an obstacle, is going to be overcome. We have the beautiful sun and anchor. This is very much a combination of achievement, of arrival, of conclusion, and it works really well with getting past the challenges that we see with the clouds. The sun is also a card of clarity and light, and so any confusion is going to be dispelled. So this is a lovely combination for achievement. Same with the child, star, and anchor. So the star and anchor, like the sun and anchor, is all about conclusions that are positive for you, wish fulfillment, landing on what you want, really strongly positive cards. With the child, you could be moving into this new beginning, this new path, this new thing that you're after, Cancer, looks to materialize for you this month. So very exciting. The bird with the sun and woman is a very positive conversation. She could be different people, what I mean to say is I can't really specify who she is in your specific environment, Cancer. You would have to tell me. But usually the man and woman cards, they represent people who are pretty important to us. And with the sun and bird, there's a positive conversation, and there could also be support from this woman. She could also be part of your success, or she could, be the bearer of the news who comes with this success. That's possible. I have to say, though, that the woman T crosses the right-hand side column, and we have the snake with this woman. We also have the snake with the heart. So again, the snake with the relationship cards is a bit difficult, and you're going to need to be cautious. So she could be a supportive person, you could be getting along, but I still think, Cancer, that there are some things that you need to manage carefully. Maybe you can't talk about everything with this person, you can't trust her with everything. So maybe a more distant, somewhat well-managed relationship. There is also the possibility through the right-hand side column that she is another person in this column, and you need to move away from this person. That's possible. After all, the snake ties into the child, and we do have the coffin and clouds and the astro clock cards as well. So that's also a possibility. But in general, I think there are some really bright cards. I'm not really seeing anything dramatic with people or anything so toxic like that. So just manage the relationship well. Enjoy the support. Be grateful, I would say, and enjoy this conversation. The mountain with the heart and snake is more along the lines of turning away, because we have the heart and snake, and this is often a combination of a disappointment. So you could be moving away from something, letting go of a situation that could have fallen through, and it could be part of what we saw in the right-hand side column. In another sense, these cards, Cancer, could be telling you to go off and do your own thing without telling too many people about it. The snake is a card of secrecy and silence, and we do see it in this position where all the cards sort of trickle down, and it is a card of moving away. And we have the child, and we have the mountain. The bird is potentially a bit of a travel card, and we have these ending cards. So you're going off and doing your own thing, or doing something exciting, and it sounds like you might want to keep some of it under your hat. The child with the bird and mountain, another suggestion for a trip. We have the bird and mountain, they could be travel cards. The mountain more than the bird. The bird in terms of travel tends to be shorter travel. So maybe you're going for some trips or going places. And actually the rider is too. The child brings this new beginning. So again, there's a sense of excitement with the bird, especially since we have it next to the heart, sun, and star. This is the loveliest line in your portrait with the star, sun, and heart. This is all around happiness, wish fulfillment, things materializing in the way that you want. They are great cards across the board. And like we said with the Anchor, Woman, and Snake, you either want to manage a situation, a person carefully, or maybe move away from someone. So overall, Cancer, these are some really bright cards. You're in for an ending and a beginning. You're in for a sort of a shift, and it seems to be really well aligned with what you want. There can be people who are supportive, but also potentially, a bit tricky to manage. You need to maintain a certain distance, but certainly beautiful for a new beginning. I have to say, Cancer, that I cannot tell from the cards if this is about work, money, a relationship, some other situation in your life. It can apply to any or even all the contexts. Yes, we do have a woman and a relationship card, but we have relationships at work and at home and in every area. So that doesn't really give away much. Still, very beautiful cards, great for a wonderful new beginning and wish fulfillment. I certainly hope you resonate with these ideas. Leave me your thoughts and comments, Cancer. Let me know how it played out. As always, I look forward to them. Thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with the month. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Leo, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your Astro Clock, and these are the Heart, the Snake, and the Scythe. And they're pretty challenging, I have to say, Leo, but I also want to note that many of us this month have challenging cards in the Astro Clock, and the portrait is helping a lot of the times, but the Astro Clock cards are looking a bit challenging this month. For your part, Leo, we've got the Snake in the middle, and the Snake is often a deceptive card. With the Scythe, it can be a bite, so something hurtful, and with the Heart, there can be here something deceptive. So this seems to have an emotional kind of side, but there can be disappointments in any area of life. So we'll see what the portrait cards suggest. And also, Leo, it's possible that you break away and turn away from something that has disappointed you. And I think the Scythe being at the end of the line and being quite sharp, with the Snake, it's pretty clear to me that this could be a hard line that you draw. So let's put these cards aside. Let's draw your portrait cards and see what else we get about them, and also what else we get about your month. Okay, Leo, here is your portrait, and it's pretty clear. It's in very good alignment with the Astro Clock cards. We have a clear fallout or a separation and a change element that comes through. I want to note though that just from looking at the cards, we still don't really see in what context this is happening. We have the garden, which represents a place or an environment, and this could be the place that you fall out from, but the cards are flexible in terms of in what context and what situation this figures. We do have two very bright cards, the Key and Clover. These are very happy, positive cards, and seeing them in this context here with your Astro Clock cards, it's clear to me that it's a good idea to move ahead and move away. So the Stork, Whip, and Coffin, this is a very clear message for a fallout and an ending. The Whip is often a challenging card. It is a card that can be high energy, so it can be a bit aggressive, and we see the Coffin after that. So it's clear that you need to let go of something and move away from it. And the Stork is your cover card. The Stork is a card of change, and with the Whip in the center, it seems to me, Leo, that you are the one to be proactive and to take action and to end this situation. The Clover with the Whip and Garden is also challenging because we have the Whip with the Garden, and this often points to arguments between people, challenges in an environment. There can be the breakup of a group or a fallout of sorts, but we have the Clover earlier, so this can be a blessing in disguise. So this is essentially your opportunity to get out. The Stork with the Child and Garden is a very clear message of a new beginning. So you could be moving into a new direction. I'm also seeing this with a few signs this month. At the same time, Leo, we have the child T crossing the middle column, and in the middle column, we have the whip and letter. This is challenging news, and so this can go in two different ways as far as I can tell. For one, maybe this change and this new beginning has obstacles, and so you still need to iron things out before you can turn away completely. Or the whip and letter can point to the announcement that you're leaving, or that you're going, or that you're letting something go. I think this might be the better interpretation, since we also have the snake and scythe, and we have the key and clover, which is a very good combination for success and getting the green light, and the stork being able to move and make a change. So that's my feeling, but you let me know how the whip and letter played out for you, specifically in your context. So we're in for a new beginning. The key with the whip and moon is also a bit challenging, obviously, because we have the whip in the middle of the line, and the whip is pretty challenging. But the moon is a soft and gentle card, and it can help alleviate a little bit the whip. And the key is great for problem solving. So you have answers, or you are going to have answers, Leo, and you are going to be able to deal with this. And I think the answer here is really that getting the green light for this new beginning. So move forward with this and manage the people, the communications, the things that you need to do, and see if you could be like a bit gentler if it works out in your context. The clover with the letter and coffin is another announcement of an ending. So this is supportive of what we saw with the whip and letter. The coffin and letter suggests an ending and the announcement of that. The clover suggests that it's a really good thing. Now, it's my feeling, Leo, that it's on you to let go and to make a change and to make this announcement, but it's possible that there are changes and things that are out of your hands that sort of throw you out of a certain environment, but it's actually in your best interest. So it's like a blessing in disguise. And to be honest, Leo, I'm not sure how much of a disguise this is. I think you see through this with the very clever key, and you're excited about this new beginning. So I think this is something that you see clearly and you're going to take advantage of. And the garden with the moon and coffin is yet another combination that suggests the end of a phase and the end of your involvement in this situation. So very clear cards and very much in alignment with the Astro Clock cards, Leo. This is about a change, a move, a letting go. Something could have fallen out and it's now your chance to move away, or you just have an opportunity to make a change and you will do so. I have to say that even though we have the garden and heart, I'm not so sure about the people cards. If this is about people, I think it's a group or something a bit more general like that, because we're not really seeing one-on-one cards. Also, we're not really seeing if this is about work or a personal thing in your life, your personal life, or some other area in your life. We do have very clear dynamics and what is going on here, but the context is flexible and it's up to you. So you let me know, Leo, in what context you see this change and this fallout happening. Was this something that you could take advantage of and turn around to make a change, or how did it exactly play out in your context? I'd be really interested to know. Very best of luck with this, Leo. Thank you as always for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Virgo, let's get into your May forecast. I have your May cards from your Astro Clock. This is the Lily, Flowers, and Child. These are some really pretty cards, Virgo. They bring up a new beginning and possibly also a renewal. As opposed to a completely fresh start, it could be a renewal within something in your life. And the reason I say that is because we have the flowers in the middle with the child. The flowers is a card of renewal, of things coming back, and with the child there's like a fresh start. The lily is often a card of career and life direction and your life as a whole, and sometimes it's about health. So it's a really nice triplet for feeling good and for a sense of renewal and refreshing your energy. And in terms of other areas of your life, you could be getting back into some part of your work. You could be turning a page on a phase on your life, and it can feel like refreshing a direction that you're moving into. It can be a new direction altogether, but it's usually with the flowers, it's a sense of renewal. The flowers is also great for creativity, and the child can also be associated with creativity. So it's also possible, Virgo, that you are like feeling a sense of expansion, and you want to explore new options, new things, and to find ways to express. So really nice cards, I would say, in any context. Let's see these portrait cards, how they align with these three, and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Virgo, here is your portrait, and it's looking really bright thanks to the star mainly. The star is an all-around wish-fulfilling card. We also have the moon and fish with the letter, with the star. So these cards here are exciting. We have a bit of a challenging aspect with the left-hand column, but it's really nice to see it on this side because the right cards, they move past any challenges here. Now, the Scythe as your cover card is definitely a card of release and change, and this works well with the child, which is about new beginnings. We have it with the letter and house, and this could be an invitation into a certain place. It can also be news coming from that certain environment. And the line in this sense is pretty neutral, but from the other cards we see that the news is quite positive. Now, the mouse with the letter and moon can mean that the news is challenging, or there are problems with it or issues, but I'm not really inclined to see it this way because we have so many bright cards around the letter as well. Instead, I think the mouse could have been some delays, or maybe just working to this communication. The moon on the other side of the letter is definitely an offer or an invitation. So it could have taken a bit of time, but I do think it comes through. The mouse also highlights the need to focus on details, Virgo. So it's important that you read carefully, that you read between the lines, and that you are clear about, the ins and outs of all of this. The Scythe, ship, and moon. Now, this is definitely a change of direction, and it certainly works with the child. And the moon is, again, tying into this offer, but it does have a gentle and positive energy, and I think it works really well with this change. I think after the change, which comes a bit, in a sharp way, because the Scythe can be quite strong, the moon is gentle, so it sounds like you're able to set sail more smoothly now that you're able to get past the issues and embrace this change. And I have to say, Virgo, it works really nicely with the lily, flowers, and child here, because these are some pretty soft and gentle cards. The cross, letter, and fish is some important news with regards to money. Normally, the fish is a card of work, money, and business. So it sounds like this could be a work offer or some opportunity for an interesting project or something that supports your work, and that can also be a source of income. So these are some really nice cards. Now, the cross is sometimes challenging. It can suggest some difficult choices to make, for example. It can also suggest this weight that is a bit heavy. And when we see it with the Scythe and mouse, I think this is part of what you're able to overcome. The thing about the cross is that it can be out of your hands, so maybe you were waiting on this for a while, like we saw in the second diagonal. But again, the Scythe seems to bring it through, and you're able to move forward and embrace this opportunity, which is looking really nice. The mouse with the star and house is another lovely message. The star easily overcomes the challenges of the mouse. Again, the mouse is about little annoyances here and there. So it sounds like, Virgo, there has been some obstacles in the way of this news, or, the feedback that you need in order to move forward in this new beginning. The star and house is a lovely environment. There can be some really good connections, some really good vibes in this space. And what this space is flexible. It depends on your situation. Normally it's home and family, but it can be other areas as well. In this context, I think it could be a workplace because of the fish and the fish with the ship. So it can be this new environment that you work in, or perhaps it's a place where you have this opportunity. So the Scythe, cross, and mouse, like we said, is very much about overcoming the challenges. I think the scythe helps. Instead of aggravating these two, I think the scythe helps. It helps you release the challenges and the wait time, or just hanging in there until you can get the feedback to move forward. The ship with the letter and star is a very beautiful message. Clearly, it brings very positive news. And this was one of the combinations why I didn't think that the mouse would turn it into bad news. The star is stronger than the mouse, and we have additional cards that bring this positive interpretation. So I felt that the mouse is better interpreted at these delays, the things that are in the way. So here we see it coming through. The moon with the fish and house is very much a work offer, a business offer, or some improvements when it comes to your money and your finances, and also in related areas like your work, your business, and collaborations and things like that. So like I said, these are some really beautiful cards here, and they work really nicely with your Astro Clock cards. It's clear that there's a new direction, a new beginning, and a new opportunity. It's just that these cards, it maybe took a while for it to come through, or you needed to work through some issues to iron out some details here to make it happen. But overall, Virgo, this is really lovely for an opportunity, for an offer. Hopefully it increases your income and it supports your prosperity in a tangible way, and hopefully in other ways as well. Let me know what you make of these ideas. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Libra, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your Astro Clock. These are the flowers, the fox, and bird. Now, these can be read in a few different ways. The fox can be a bit deceptive. It can point to someone who's a bit self-interested, a bit selfish. And the bird can add a bit of anxiety around this. But the flowers is actually a really bright card, and it can bring good things. Now, in terms of the fox and flowers together, I suspect that someone could be a bit fake, and the things they say through the bird are not 100% genuine. So that is one way to look at the cards, that they warn you or make you aware of someone who is not necessarily honest, or they're not totally genuine. They sound nice, but they might not be totally genuine. But the fox is also a card of work and employment. And so this could be a really good message for jobs, for projects, for activity. And the bird can mean that you're busy with your work, busy being productive and creative, or you could be negotiating something with regards to your work, your project, or some kind of practical area in your life. So these are the two ways I see these cards. Let's set them aside and see what we get from your portrait cards, what more we get about them, and what other messages we might get for your month. Okay, Libra, here is your portrait, and we have some very bright messages in your portrait. We have the beautiful sun right in the middle, and we have the clover. These are two very happy cards. We also have the ship and child that are also quite optimistic. At the same time, we have the snake, which matches a bit the energy of the fox, and we have the mouse. The mouse is not very challenging, but its position here, like at the bottom and like the gathering point, if you like, of the portrait, I'm wondering how it's going to play out. Now, the child with the sun and mouse points to a wonderful new beginning, but the mouse can slow things down. I think this aligns well with these cards, with the Astro Clock cards, because the flowers bring a beautiful energy, even a wish fulfilled, but the fox and bird can bring in some delays or having to manage this opportunity more carefully. So there can be some obstacles that could come in your way. The ship with the sun and coffin is about an ending, and this works with the child, which is a beginning. So this is a happy ending. With the ship, with the sun, this can be the end of a journey, and it can be something that you've completed and achieved. So the coffin is a card of endings, but it doesn't mean it's a bad ending. It doesn't mean that it's always negative. With such beautiful cards, you could have completed a project, and you probably did this successfully, and now you're ready to turn the page and move into a new direction. We see this certainly with the child, snake and coffin. The snake and coffin very much points to the need to wrap something up and turn away and move away, and the child brings a new beginning. Also, Libra, the snake is a card of silence and secrecy, and it's sort of, it's typically negative, but with these positive cards and this happy ending, I think the snake can be read as the need to turn away more carefully, more slowly, and it aligns with the mouse and it aligns with the fox. So the ending is clear, the ending is in sight, and the new beginning is also in sight, and this transition, it sounds like it's what needs to be managed, carefully or calmly. The man with the sun and clover is a beautiful combination. It brings very happy vibes with this person, and it sounds like this person is part of this new beginning. T crossing the left-hand side column with the child and ship on either side. This point can be a new relationship or a new collaboration or something that you move forward with this person. And obviously with the sun and clover, these are some really bright cards. So it sounds like this is someone who's part of your success, who enables this change, and who could bring in the opportunity itself. The ship in Stork is very much about change and movement. It is actually a combination that points to moving countries, like it can be a big change. Now for me, I think 2 cards is not enough for something as big and as specific, but it still points to changes and activity and forward movement and progress. But again, Libra, we see the mouse on the other side here, so it can slow things down. I think we're seeing this consistently throughout your Astro Clock cards and your portrait cards. You've got the momentum, you've got the green light, but things are a little bit stopping you or slowing you down during the month. The child with the man and ship, like we said, is either a new relationship that moves forward pretty well, or it could be a new journey with this person. In all cases, it sounds like a really supportive person, mainly thanks to the sun and clover. And on this note, Libra, it's worth saying that the cards can apply in different contexts. Yes, we have a relationship, but we also have the fox, which can be a work card. We have the ship, which is great for trade. So it can apply in different contexts. But the man typically suggests someone who's pretty important to you and who has an impact in your situation. The snake with the sun and stork is beautiful change, positive change. And I also think a sense of freedom, mainly through the sun, because it's so bright and open, and it does have also a relaxed feel. But earlier we have the snake, which tells us that you need to transition more carefully, or again, before you can kick off and make this change. It sounds like things are going to be quiet for some time. We see it with the snake and coffin, with the fox and bird, where there's a need to balance out, how you make this change. The coffin with the clover and mouse is again aligned with this ending. The clover, like the sun next to the coffin, points to a positive ending. And it's another sign that it's a good idea to turn the page. Again, the mouse slows things down, and I think within the month, Libra, although you've got the plan, you've got the steps laid out, you've got the opportunity to make a change, it sounds like within the month there are still some things that you are working through before you can completely draw the line and turn away. And I also want to note that the mouse is not a big problem. It tends to be small annoyances, and its main message is to take care of things while they are small, and so that they don't, get out of hand. So the mouse is, like I'm saying, it's few little issues, okay? So it's not there to overcome the beautiful sun or the beautiful clover. It's clear that you're heading in a new direction, and it's going to be a bright one and a productive one, but the transition seems a bit slower, so hang in there. And there can also be a suggestion to be silent about it for some time. So this could go back into your strategy and how you go about making this change. So very beautiful cards, Libra. They bring a beautiful new beginning and also success and productivity, supportive relationships. The transition into, ending this and turning the page is what seems to be the trickier part, but it's not a huge deal. And so bide your time and see like how it's best to move away. I also want to say again, Libra, that the cards can apply in different contexts. This could be personal, work-related, or in some other area. Let me know what you make of these cards. I hope you resonate with them positively. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Scorpio, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your astro clock, and these are pretty neutral. They bring up a conversation or a new relationship. We have the child and woman, and then the bird. The child is about anything new, and with the woman, it can represent a new relationship, and the bird is often a card of conversation, discussions, and essentially talking. So you could be getting to know someone, you could make a new connection. I have to say, though, Scorpio, that the bird can be a bit anxious. It has a nervous side. So I'm not sure how well this relationship goes at first. There can be maybe a bit of tension, but it's kind of light with the bird. And also, we don't really see in what context this is in, if it's a personal relationship or something work-related. So let's put these cards aside and let's draw your portrait, see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Scorpio, here is your portrait, and I have to say that it is quite an interesting spread. We have some really bright cards to start off. We have the beautiful Sun and Clover, two of the brightest cards of the deck, and we have the ship, which is pretty positive in and of itself, and it figures in the center of the portrait. So for starters, we have some really good things happening here. Now, what stands out is the heart and scythe, the scythe and dog. And often the heart and scythe points to a breakup or a heartbreak, something painful emotionally. And so I'm wondering, and because we have the child, which is a card of new beginnings, I have to wonder, Scorpio, if there isn't a separation from someone and a new relationship. So really interesting messages here. Now we have the man as your cover card. It can represent yourself or the other person. And so with the woman and man, and also we have the heart and dog, it's pretty clear, Scorpio, that there's a focus on people here. Now the man with the ship and scythe points to a change of direction. This person could leave or move or just separate from you, or perhaps you're the one who does that. So there's definitely a change of direction, and this leads to a new beginning. We have the clover with the ship and book, and you could be heading into something unknown. Maybe that's part of the anxiety that we see with the bird. It's possible. The book is often a card of the unknown, but with the clover and ship, you're definitely encouraged to go for this. The man, stork, and book can point to a revelation. In a way, the stork opens up the book. There can be some feelings that are revealed, or something that is revealed. But tying the book to this line, it can be something challenging. It can be revealed that this person is leaving another person. I'm sensing a triangle. I'm sensing several people, Scorpio, because we have the dog, the woman, and the man. So that could be part of what we're seeing. Now, it can be to your advantage. Maybe this person is leaving their other relationship, or perhaps there's another person in the picture that's a bit of a pain, and there is a separation, and that could be what you hear about. Now, it doesn't have to be strictly related to this line. The man with the stork and book can point to changes, and I think there can be some kind of contact or activity and things moving forward with this person. The reason I say that is the book is kind of closed, and yes, it's not on the, it's not to the left of the stork, but the stork can still open up this opportunity and open up this person, and it sounds like things are moving forward. We see this here, the sun, ship, and heart. They are very nice cards for forward movement and progress and pursuing things that you love. It can also be good for travel and going places. So these are really nice cards that move things forward in a really nice way. The clover with the dog and scythe, this one is another interesting one because of the scythe, like we saw with the heart. It can be a separation. I can't dismiss this possibility, Scorpio, and the clover suggests that it's a good thing to do that. Or it's like what we were saying earlier, that there's a third party or someone who's interfering in the relationship, or maybe the other person is getting over their relationship. And we see this clearly in these lines. It can also be a change in general. You could also be releasing certain connections or moving. And sometimes when you make these changes, you know, people sort of are part of the change. You have to let them go. So there's a few possibilities here. The man with the sun and clover is a beautiful relationship and very good vibes, very positive vibes with this person. The stork with the ship and dog can be moving and traveling. And again, it T-crosses the bottom row where we saw the dog and scythe. So you could be moving away from certain people and connecting with others, or perhaps the other person is doing that, and so there's an opportunity to get together. But changes and a fresh energy is definitely in your cards. And like we said, the book with the heart and scythe can point to a revelation of a change or a breakup or a separation. And again, Scorpio, interestingly, in this context, it could be to your advantage. Now, in case it isn't, I still think that anything that is disappointing that is coming your way, I think you'll be able to move past it pretty quickly, Scorpio, because of these very beautiful cards, because of the change cards. So a really interesting spread. I think that is bringing like two or more people in a dynamic. And it sounds like there are some people who are going to be out of the picture or you need to move away from, and others whom you connect with. And if this is not strictly about connections, Scorpio, there's definitely people who are helpful to help you move forward, to take these positive steps, these interesting projects, or even travel. And you're going to take this up. It's pretty clear to me, Scorpio, you're going to take this up. And in the process, or as a result, you might have to let go of certain people. You might have to leave some folks behind. You might have to turn something down and move on in this direction. And we did see the ship and scythe. That could be a change of direction. But from your astro clock cards, we have the relationship focus. So there's definitely some helpful people here that come into the picture, whether it's on a personal way or in other areas of your life. I also want to suggest, Scorpio, that it's a good time to be open to adventure. The ship in the middle and the sun and the stork and the clover with the book, there's this element of going for something different, maybe for something unknown, and broadening a little bit the horizons. There is a sense of freedom. So I think you should definitely take this up. And anything that is somewhat challenging in order to, take on this change, I think is going to be, I feel that you're going to overcome it pretty quickly. Even though we have this line on the right-hand side, we still have a lot of positive cards that help overcome them. So a lovely month for adventure and change, great for relationships, great for relief, and also for exploring. So go for all of this and enjoy it, Scorpio. Let me know how you resonated with these cards. I think they're kind of interesting, so I really look forward to your feedback. Thank you as always for tuning in. Very best of luck with the month, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Sagittarius, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from the Astro Clock, and these are the Book, Rider, and Scythe. These are news cards, Sagittarius. The Book is often a card of the unknown, but it is followed by the Rider, which is a messenger or someone helpful, and the Scythe, which breaks open the book and can also change your direction or suggest that this news comes suddenly. So clearly there is some kind of revelation here, or something comes up, someone tells you something, or you receive some news in whatever form really applies to you. Now the thing about these cards, Sagittarius, is that they don't really tell us what the news is about or if it's positive or challenging. So we're going to draw your portrait cards and see in what context these figure and find out other things as well about your month. So let's go ahead and deal out these cards. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your portrait, and we have two cards from your Astro Clock that show up here, the Book and the Scythe, and we have the Man at the top, which can be the writer, which can be the person who delivers your news. In the middle, we have the mountain, and the mountain can be a card of blockages. I think it is in some combinations, but it can also be a place abroad, or maybe the news comes from a different location, or possibly online. And I have to say that we have the beautiful sun with the tree. These are very bright cards. The moon is also quite positive. So with the neutral cards and just the mouse here, I think there is a positive change or a positive answer, or some kind of information that comes up. So the man with the mountain and mouse can suggest an obstacle here, because the mouse slows down the mountain and creates this element of things not coming through, things taking time. There are obstacles and blockages. So when we see them with the man, it seems to me, Sagittarius, that this person might have been out of touch or difficult to come by, or maybe they had some issues that come up that slowed down the contact and the communication. But the lily with the mountain and sun is quite bright, so any obstacles represented by the mountain are overcome with the sun, and I think we see them as well in here, even though the mouse and scythe can be a bit challenging. And also, Sagittarius, the mountain and sun I often take to suggest a place abroad, on a different location. I often take it to suggest a vacation. So maybe you have an opportunity to go somewhere. Now, the thing about the lily is that it can suggest life and lifestyle and your life direction in general. It can also point to your work and your career. So I have to wonder, Sagittarius, if maybe you have an opportunity in a different location. Maybe you're considering a move somewhere or connecting with a place. This too would be in the cards, and also beneficial. The man, tree, and sun is lovely. This is a very good connection. And yes, the tree is a bit slower, but certainly with the sun, this person comes through. It's also great for the connection. So the relationship between the two of you is evolving, and things are happening, and there is also mutual support and understanding. The moon with the mountain and scythe is great for breaking down obstacles. The moon is often a card of invitation and honors and offers, a bit like with the rider and book, and the book in different combinations. So there does seem to be a pretty good offer, or some opportunity or a choice or option that comes through for you, and I think it could be something you take up. The thing about the scythe is that it can rock your boat a little bit, or it can feel like you need to answer to it urgently, or it can also cause you to change what you're doing. So in that sense, it can cause a bit of a commotion. The lily with the book and mouse is a bit of misinformation with the book and mouse. So it sounds like there needs to be a bit more learning and studying, and probably planning. If you're looking at moves and changes, there needs to be some planning, and you need to find out what you do not know of, or what you have question marks about. So this is important. Also, Sagittarius, the mouse has a main message. It often advises you to work on any issues while they are small, so that they don't grow big and get out of hand. This is a key advice of the mouse, and I think it's important to follow it. With the book and lily, it sounds like there's knowledge that is incomplete, or maybe part of your skills learning that is still underway, and that could be, once that's done, that can open up more opportunities. The man with the moon and lily, this is probably the person who brings you the offer or the opportunity. And if this is not about an offer, this is about a relationship, then it sounds like it is in a positive direction. It sort of matches what we saw at the top. Now, they're not adjacent, but the sun and moon often points to a love relationship. And of course, if it's not about love for you, Sagittarius, it could be a positive collaboration. The tree with the mountain and book, this is about knowledge and having to wait on more information to come, having more information about the place or the offer, and makes sense. It T crosses the bottom row where we had the warning sign from the mouse telling you that there are some things that are not yet known, or that are not clear, or even incomplete, or even misleading, and I think you need to do some homework. Now, the sun with the scythe and mouse can be a breakthrough and a removal of the obstacle to give way for this opportunity to move forward into Sagittarius, but I have to also admit that it can be turning down the offer. The scythe with the mouse can be a no, and it is a negative combination, and obviously the sun makes it bright, but the idea here is that it's in your best interest either to remove the obstacles or the those elements that are not working and resolve that, or turn down an offer altogether. And so I'm seeing this within the month. What happens beyond the month and longer is gonna, depend on other readings and other things that are happening with you. But I would say, Sagittarius, within the month, I don't think there is enough information or all the elements that you need to have in order to move forward. So whether you eventually turn it down or you need more time to work on it to make it a better offer, better opportunity, I would say that's what you need to focus on the month. Notice that we have the scythe at the end of this line and the scythe on the right hand side of your portrait. So it can be that card that draws the line. Now, I'm not saying this is dramatic. I'm not saying this is a big issue or a problem. No, it has to do with having the right pieces in place, having the right information in order to make an informed decision about any offer that comes your way. Now, in terms of a personal relationship, I think something similar happens, except with people. And so here there is an opportunity with someone, but I think something comes up, or you're just waiting on the right time or the right situation in order to maybe get to know this person better or do things with them. And so for the time being, maybe you take a step back or you take more time to figure these things out. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Sagittarius. In general, they are positive. I'm wondering if you ended up turning down an offer or what you did about it. I'd be curious to know how you resonated with these cards. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Capricorn, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your Astro Clock. And these are looking pretty bright, mainly thanks to the bear and flowers. But we have the clouds, which can confuse things a little bit and cause things to be a bit unclear at this stage. The flowers is an all-around happy card. It brings wish fulfillment and healing. And the bear makes everything bigger and important. So it really highlights the benefit of the flowers. But again, the clouds, especially on this side of the line, brings a bit of confusion or lack of clarity. So I think you have an opportunity or something positive materializes, but there are still some elements that you need to work out and work through in order to get past them and embrace this opportunity. I have to say, Capricorn, these are also good cards for creativity. You could have an exciting project. You could be thinking about some things you want to do, and it's really about figuring out the details or some elements of it. And we don't really see in what area of life these cards figure, so we're going to draw your portrait and see what we get about them. Okay, Capricorn, here is your portrait, and we have both the clouds and flowers that figure in here. We have the beautiful star, the beautiful tree, so it's a lovely message. And in this layout, the clouds are on the left-hand side, and I think you really overcome them, which was what we initially thought. And the reason is the clouds is not a huge deal. It's a bit confusing, but it's not the end of the world. It's not like a whip or other challenging cards. We also have the ship as your cover card, Capricorn, so you could be considering a trip, or you could be considering a move or changes or certain projects that you want to pursue. With the lily and child, you could be looking at a new life, a new lifestyle, possibly even a new career. So this can be a change in how you live, where you live, and things you do. And it could also be a change in your projects and in your career, and probably some bigger things in your life. So this matches with the bear, because both the bear and lily have a more serious kind of implication. They make things more important and more significant. The clouds with the lily and tree can be about the planning and how you go about doing this. It can also be thinking about this new situation, this new environment, how you're going to settle into it. And if it's about your work and your career, it can be the direction, how you grow moving forward. So this is where the thinking is happening. And I think it also has to do with a bit of planning and, bringing the pieces together. The ship with the ring and tree is great for your commitments, your involvements, and things that you're doing, things that you're pursuing. It looks like you are on the right track. It just needs to take a bit more time, but keep doing it, keep pursuing it. The ring can also be a card of relationships. So if this is about someone else, there's a good connection here. And the ring T crosses with the middle column, and this is another very bright line. We have the lily and flowers. This is great for productivity, success, celebrations as well, and also a sense of creativity. So again, it sounds like you're on the right track, you're pursuing the right things and the right changes. So your direction and what it looks like moving forward is key. And so you need to sit on this, Capricorn, to figure things out so that everything aligns. The letter with the lily and star is some really good news here. This is probably going to give you the push forward. The lily can mean that this has to do with professional things or administrative things, legal things sometimes, and things like that. But it can also be a bit broader and suggest your life, your lifestyle as a whole. And obviously with the star, there is some very good news. So it's clear that things materialize. And when we T-cross this with the right-hand side column, we have the tree and child, and these are lovely messages for a wonderful new beginning that materializes. So beautiful, very beautiful cards. The clouds with the flowers and child, sort of similar to what we saw here. There are some things that you're considering, maybe some issues, some points that need more clarity, but obviously you figure things out and you move into this new beginning. Also really great cards for creativity, taking a first step forward. Give yourself a chance, Capricorn, to do things you haven't tried, to express your creativity. Give yourself elbow room. You don't need to judge yourself and make it complicated. The ship with the letter and clouds is a little bit of that complication that we saw. Maybe you're waiting on this news to come through. You're waiting on the details to come through, and I think they do come through. The letter T crosses with the middle row where we saw the beautiful star. So very beautiful cards. And we read these lines as well while we were T-crossing the other lines. So a very beautiful and I would say a straightforward portrait for you, Capricorn. Things are obviously materializing. They seem to be in your work and your life path in general because we have the lily in the middle, but it could also be in other areas. I still think whatever areas this affects, it has an impact on your life as a whole. And you could be making some big changes, because of the child, the tree, the lily, and then the ship as your cover card, this new direction, it could be quite a big deal for you. And the stars all around lovely to bring blessings and along with the flowers, a sense of happiness and success. So a wonderful new direction is opening up for you, Capricorn. Let me know in what area this figured for you. I'd be curious to know. And also work the plan and think of the details and any issues that come up, and you'll soon be over them. So a very beautiful message here. I hope you resonate with them in this way. Let me know in the comments, Capricorn. So very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Aquarius, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your astro clock. We've got the road, the child, and the dog. And this would typically point to new relationships, new people in your life. You could be, going places to go out and meet people. The dog is a card of friends. The child is about new beginning, and the road is about change and choices, but also this idea of pursuing a path. So it's very clear that you have new connections this month, and you could be encouraged to make new connections. The thing about the cards, Aquarius, is that they don't really tell us in what context these people are. So it could be in your personal life, in your professional life, in some other area as well. So let's deal out your portrait and see what we get about these cards and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Aquarius, here is your portrait, and I think we're getting a clear message, especially through this left-hand side column where there's an ending and a separation. And it's clear that there are people in focus. We have both the man and the woman, which aligns with the dog, and we have the beautiful sun in the middle. We have the clouds here, which is a bit of an issue. It brings up confusion or lack of clarity in some areas, but overall the sun is very relieving in terms of letting go and opening up to new people. Now the fox as your cover card can be about the job or about your work, your employment. The fox can also point to customers in the context of work. So I'm thinking, with the dog, maybe there is such people in your life or colleagues at work, or it's flexible really. We have the sun with the clouds, and this is a very beautiful message for success and opportunity in terms of work. Now, the clouds can sometimes, cover up the sun a little bit, but it's hardly as strong as the sun. The sun is a very brightly positive card. So there can be some issues or complications or just some items that need more clarity moving forward, but I'm pretty sure you're going to overcome them with the power of the sun. The coffin with the sun and house can be an ending, and we do have a very clear ending in the left column, and we have a clear message of a beginning in your astro clock cards. So it sounds like with the sun and house, it's kind of relieving. It creates a new space in your situation. It creates a sense of freedom and light in your environment. So it sounds like it is relieving for you to let go of this person or the situation or involvement. The fox with the scythe and coffin is a very direct message of an ending. In fact, many authors, they read the scythe and coffin as an ending, as a death. And I don't see it this way. I think it's a bit much, for just 2 cards, and we need more context. But it's clear in its finality. It's clear that you're drawing a line. And with the fox here, I feel, Aquarius, maybe you had been hesitating or taking time, or maybe just waiting for the right time to do this. But certainly with the scythe and coffin, there's a clear ending. The man with the sun and bear is a wonderful connection. This could be someone who has influence or is in a certain position or gives you a lot of support. And when we see a T crossing the bottom row with the coffin and clouds, which is another indication of an ending, it's clear that this is someone who's going to help you overcome your hesitation, Aquarius, and enable you to, or encourage you, give you the power or empower you to make this ending happen. The woman between the house and clouds is a supportive relationship. With the house, it can be someone closer, but the clouds is, a little bit challenging, and it brings some items that need to be clarified. So it sounds like you're working with people, you're figuring things out with people, you have support. It's almost like a team. You have support, and you have to work through whatever the issues are. Now that you've drawn a close on this and are moving into a new beginning. The fox with the man and house is another suggestion. It's like the woman and house. We've got the man and house. So again, people in your closer circle, maybe at work or in your personal life, you deal with them to bring this to an end and to ring in the new. The fox is always a card of caution, but it is your cover card, Aquarius. So it's not a threat. It is more of the kind of attitude that you want to have. You want to be clever and strategic with people. The scythe with the sun and woman is a very beautiful message. This is the nicest line of your portrait, and this can be a breakthrough. And so there is, again, this element of relief and freedom and light that comes in your cards. We saw this with the coffin and sun. And so this woman can bring in a lot of inspiration or give you a lot of ideas. And, it's like a pull forward thanks to these people, and enabling you also to let go and draw a line. And we read the coffin and clouds on either side of the bear, again, helping you to bring things to a close. It sounds like it takes a bit of effort. The bear is a card of strength and stamina. So it can take a bit of effort to make these changes, Aquarius, and that could be part of, what the issues are that we see in the clouds. But it's very clear. The cards are very, very clear. The scythe and coffin, the child, the coffin with the sun, the coffin and other combinations, the scythe as well. This is about making a change and drawing a line. And people come in very clearly in this month. You have to collaborate with others, you have to work with them, you have to deal with them, you have to meet new people. So it's kind of social, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life. And I have to say, Aquarius, that apart from the fox, which is often a card of work and employment, we don't have much else indication as to what area this could be figuring in. So I think this is flexible. It could be work related, or it could be in other areas of your life, personal life. Here, it's about socializing, meeting new people. And also I would say taking it easy, with the clouds and fox. Take it easy as you get to know people. Try to figure out, what they're about and things like that. I also want to add, Aquarius, that it's a good idea to get out of the house. Yeah. So the sun, you know, it's associated with, you know, the light, the outdoors, and we have the child and the road. So, you know, see if you change approach and be a bit more adventurous. Let this go, you know, move past it and just enjoy some happier times. You know, be open to others, all while being cautious. Of course, we're not saying you shouldn't be cautious, but, you know, be open to what's out there. So let me know what you make of these interesting cards, Aquarius. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. I hope you resonate with them in a positive way. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Pisces, welcome to your May forecast. We have your May cards from your astro clock. And I have to say, May is a handful for a lot of us. And it is for you, Pisces. We have the whip right in the middle between the ship and woman. So this seems to me like you are changing plans, or plans fall apart, or there can be challenges to some projects that you're pursuing. And with the woman, there are challenges with a person, and there could be some disagreement with them. So this can happen in any context. We're going to draw your portrait cards and see if we get context, but it can depend on you as well. And we'll also see what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Pisces, here is your portrait, and it's a lot brighter than your astro clock cards. We do have an ending that comes up through the coffin, which is at the bottom here. So there's like a gathering space, you know, for all the lines in the portrait. And so this could be what aligns with the ship and whip. This could be a cancellation, or something that ends, or something that doesn't go through. At the same time, we have the beautiful flowers and star, and these are lovely cards for all around success. I mean, they are beautiful for healing, success, wish fulfillment. So this is a very bright message coming through, and it lightens up the entire portrait. And in fact, we don't have challenging cards in your portrait. The bird is sometimes a bit anxious, but it's mainly about discussions and conversations. And the coffin can be neutral, you know, just suggesting an ending. Now, the road is your cover card, and the road is a card of change and travel and movement. And this aligns well with the ship that we see here. So the road with the bird and coffin, it's very clear that this is the end of the road with something. The bird can mean the end of communication. Maybe you could stop talking with someone or stop negotiating on something, and you know, you bring it to a close. The bird can also be a busy card. You know, it's good with doing things. It can be a bit chaotic. It can be a bit all over the place, but that could also be part of what you're trying to wrap up. You know, you're closing things off, tying loose ends, and moving on. The ring with the bird and star is lovely for a new commitment. So I'm saying new because usually there's something new in the back of an ending. That's why. But it could have been already in process. And the ring with the bird and star is wonderful communication, a new connection, a wonderful commitment. And also you could be negotiating something like an involvement, a commitment. It could be a work situation, or anything else really. And the star is all around success and healing. So this could be a wonderful thing for you. The road with the flowers and star, like we said, this is the brightest line in your portrait with the two very bright cards. And with the road, it sounds like you're pursuing some wonderful projects. You could be on a path of success. You could also be on a path of creativity, a great time for creativity. The book with the bird and woman is definitely about communicating. It's definitely about bringing something out into the open, bringing messages, and also having discussions and conversations. So these are neutral cards, but they bring things out into the open, and it sounds like the conversations are helpful because we have, you know, the bird that ties into the star that ties into the woman. Now we see the coffin on the other side of the woman, so this can bring something to a successful conclusion, or there can be this conversation that helps you bring things to an end, or you get to the bottom line of things. The ring, bear, and coffin is, to me, definitely an ending, the ending of a commitment. And so I think this is not about, you know, there is definitely something that closes. It's not just about waiting or things that are slower. With the coffin, no, I think we're talking about an ending. And so this person here helps you bring things to an end. She could also be someone you end things with. And I think there's mutual understanding, and it's a good thing for you to move on, Pisces, because it's clear that there are some really interesting opportunities ahead, you know. So it's a closure of a chapter. I really feel that. I think you could be, well, we have the book that Knights to the Coffin and Star, and this can be a wonderful message of closure and completion. And the road with the book and ring is definitely a contract or an agreement, some kind of proposal and commitment. And this ring ties into the star, and we saw here, so this is a very nice triangle here. If you see it, there's a proposal, an involvement, an agreement, some kind of opportunity that you're negotiating and that you land on, and it's very positive. And so in the back of it, you're able to conclude something and move on. It can be a big change because of the bear. The flowers with the bird and bear is a very important conversation, and also there's a sense of renewal and excitement. I think it's excitement about bringing something to a close and wrapping something up, and this could be a really big deal. And we saw the star with the woman and coffin. Again, another suggestion here that this person helps you with the change or with the closure. So very nice cards. The portrait is a lot brighter than your Astro Clock cards, Pisces. The Astro Clock cards are turbulent. You know, they bring a bit of they rock your boat, quite literally. And they can bring challenges to the path. And the path is changing. There is an ending, and it sounds like you're moving in a different direction. It sounds like there's a really good opportunity that comes your way, and you could, kick off into that. I have to also say, Pisces, that the whip is a bit more aggressive, and it has energy, and so it can be a call for you to be more proactive with these changes. This too is possible. Now, I see that the cards can go in a few, like they can apply in different contexts. We don't have from the cards any indication if this is related to your work or to people, personal relationships specifically, or to other areas of your life. So it is flexible in this sense, Pisces. It is an opportunity for your work. It's a great project or even a job. And it's also great for relationships where there seems to be mutual understanding and good conversations. I have to say though, Pisces, that in relationships there are endings as well. So we have the woman and coffin, we have the ring and coffin, the bird and coffin. You know, the coffin is in a pretty strategic position in the portrait where the lines sort of feed into it. At the same time, there are renewals and other relationships. So there is this change and transition that we see in other areas that can apply in relationships as well. Still, a beautiful change, and I think a desired direction could be materializing for you, Pisces. So do what you need to do to close chapters and open a new one. Let me know what you make of these ideas. I hope you resonate with them positively. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month, Pisces. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.